you still doing your little rap show?
Yo, man, welcome to another episode of your little rap show. I'm your host, Av Campbell.
Yo, it's your boy Buck the World.
All right, and this week we got another special question from another special viewer out there. So this week's question is,
Okay.
what song lyrics, if any, that you've heard throughout your life truly resonated with you?
Okay. That's a good question. Okay, so for me, so I got like lyrics that like I like to attach to like moments, I guess, that are like significant within like my life or whatever. All right, so or I like to take like something from the lyric and that makes it impactful for me. All right, so for the lyric that I have that like is tied to like a memory or a moment for me is from a song from Major Lazer. It's called Powerful.
Okay.
And it starts or whatever, but this particular lyric is like, it says like lightning when I'm swimming in the sea. And like that lyric right there reminds me of a moment where like, it's just like early on when I was like dating like my girlfriend right now. And like, we were sharing like our experiences or whatever. And like at the time, like I hated being vulnerable, but like, oh, it's a thunderstorm going outside. So like we're smoking outside on the balcony. We're very high up. And it's like, oh, every time I'm like making a point or saying something impactful, like that was from like my past or something, like a lightning streak with like a lightning bolt would strike. So it's like, oh, like the first time that shit happened, I didn't notice, but she did. So it's like, oh shit. And like the song is playing in the background. So it's like, it's an emotional moment. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just spill my guts right here. So it's like every time I'm saying some shit, it would be, yo, I swear to God, yo, it was like a lightning bolt at every point that I was saying. And like that song, that moment, that memory for both of us, like has a lot. So like that even became like our song, so to speak, because of like.
And what's the line again?
Like lightning when I'm swimming in the sea. It's like that. So it's like, oh, I remember like expressing myself, like being a little vulnerable there for like one of the first times ever. And then like that song was playing and like we had like, it was crazy. So like that always, every time I hear that song and that lyric plays, it like, oh, I like fly back to the balcony in that moment. So that's why I picked that song. How many did you get? Because I got like three.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do three. I have three.
All right, cool. I got like three. All right, so for my, I'm about to go in here and be on my bullshit. Not like in a negative way, but like, if I'm about to go do a presentation or a meeting or some shit, my number one go-to song I play is The Weeknd Heartless. And that lyric. He has that lyric, oh, never need a bitch, I'm what a bitch need.
Right.
Like, oh, that shit just like, I don't know what it does to my ego, but that shit just like inflates my ego, bro. So it's just like, oh, that line right there is very significant. Not just for like, and I picked that one because it's like, oh yeah, you could take it as literal sense, like, oh, I don't need a bitch or whatever, which is dope in itself. But just like that energy from that lyric, every time I hear that song, it like, oh, that shit amps me up. I feel like I could just like, oh, whatever I'm about to go in here, I'm about to smoke that shit.
Yeah,
like,
the beat playing with the...
Yeah. So that shit is just like, oh, that shit is OD hype for me. So that's what like the energy, I guess I'll tie that lyric with and make it impactful for me. And then the last one, this one's like, I don't know, this one's a classic, or not even a classic, but like just a favorite moment from me. So this is a song my aunt Debbie used to play all the time that like she played it so much I started hating it, but then Wayne got on the remix and his verse for the remix, it was Mary J. Blige Just Fine remix, and then Wayne had this part in there.
Yo, black woman and Just Fine, bro.
yo so when he got on the remix and it was like a different beat, it was like, oh, that's fire. So like when I hear the song, I think of my aunt, and then it's like, oh, he had a line in there, it was like a play on Never Say Never. So he's like, I would never lie if I would never lie because I never say never. Will I ever say never because I never gave up, whatever. And to me, I was like, oh, nah. Like, that's just one of those lines you hear. Like, every time I hear that line, I'm impressed. Like, nah, I'm always going to be impressed with how he, like, played on that phrase and, like, just how simple it was, because he didn't use a lot of words. It damn near repeats itself all the time. But the way he flipped it, it just that shit's just one of the coolest things for me. And that song ties into like memories of my aunt. So like for significant moments with music, I often attach them with either like emotions or like memories, specific memories tied into those. So those would be my three I want to share today. Where I thought, oh, I got one for like emotional and being vulnerable. I got one for like confidence and like, you know, being that shit. And then it's like, oh, here's like a funny little family. Every time I think of this shit right here, then it's like, oh, it's a cool like play on words. I love how he did that. Like, because I would never lie if I never say that shit was fire. So those are my three.
That's a good three.
Yeah.
I got at least three. I'm definitely like Heartless by the Weeknd is definitely.
It's definitely there. It's definitely,
That's
it's
definitely
up there. It's
that's
up
definitely
there.
on my 5 songs I got to play in the morning list.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, in no particular order, I got "Immortal" by Kid Cudi.
Ooh.
So there's like the intro to the song when he says, "I tried to tell all my friends when I was a kid that I had powers, and nobody wanted to believe me." All right. And I really resonate with that shit because it's like I keep trying to tell y'all niggas that I got powers, and y'all be acting like I'm just saying that, and then I have to constantly keep doing cool and amazing shit that nobody knows I'm getting this shit done.
Nah,
so it's like
facts.
there's that. The second one I have is from the Rough Riders Volume 2 album. Is Jadakiss. He got a song called My Name Is Kiss. So the line is, and I'm way better than these other dudes, but I'm stuck with what I'm stuck with because I don't suck dick. So
Respect.
that line resonates with me on my own music journey because I feel like a lot of people get further like by kissing ass and things like that.
Definitely.
So it's like me thinking I'm like really talented. Well, knowing I'm really talented is like, oh, I might not have reached certain milestones because I'm moving with like a certain set of morals and principles.
Definitely.
And so when I heard him say that, like, granted, the song came out when I was a kid and I wasn't really thinking about music, but coming back and hearing this shit as an adult, I was like, exactly.
This nigga got it.
Right. This is why I'm here. I'm in this position right now because I'm not sucking dick. So it's like, it's going to take like a little longer to get where I'm trying to go.
Facts. But when I get there, it's like, oh, I stood on everything I said.
Right. And then the third one I have is from Kendrick Lamar has a song called X-Rated off of the Damn album, or like the Triple X joint featuring U2. So the second verse of the song, he's basically breaking down how somebody came to him for advice because like their son was murdered and things like that or whatever. So he has a particular line where like, cause the guy's coming to him like, yo, like, you know, like I need some like spiritual guidance or whatever. So the line that resonated with me is when Kendrick responded to him was like, oh, I can't sugarcoat the answer for you. This is how I feel. If somebody killed my son, that means somebody getting killed. Cause it's like, even though you try to move a certain way and you try to preach positivity and things like that, oh, there's certain instances where it's like, oh yeah, nah, all of that's gonna go out the window and I'm only gonna handle that shit that way. And I like that that shit really resonated because it kind of shows like the dichotomy that everybody has of like,
No, definitely.
these two opposite like ideas coming together. Because even after the line, the verse ends with him saying like, oh, I'm actually about to go speak at this convention. Let me call you back. And then he's in a school telling kids, all right, kids, today we're going to talk about gun control. Where it's like, oh yeah, my perception to the world is like, I'm like kind of like holier than thou, this, that, and the third. But oh yeah, bro, like if somebody killed my son, like
I got to go get the blood back. Like,
yeah, like he getting killed, bro. All
Yeah.
of that shit you think I'm doing. And then
I
it's
know.
like, oh yeah, I still got to go ahead and tell kids not to go down that road, which is like kind of hypocritical. So I really appreciate it as my third one.
Nah, this was definitely a dope question.
Yeah.
Not even going front.
If I had I got like a few other quick ones where there's a song by Problem called Stingy. And the first line of the song is, bitch, you can't fuck me if you broke. You be lucky if I let you give me head. Cause realistically, it's like you can't be out here fucking broke bitches, y'all. Like, have some respect for yourself.
Definitely. Right?
And that's what I got, man.
Definitely. Yo, put your favorite lyric down there and what it means to you in the comments, man.
You feel me? Shout out to y'all. Keep sending them questions.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
This is the latest episode of your little rap show. We'll be back next week.